We had a wonderful question pop up, and as long as I'm answering this, I want to share it with you too as well, because I think this is going to be a more and more common question as time goes on. Somebody asked, this might be a vague question, but what is the end game of Last Epoch? So I wanted to record this right now because we're right smack in the middle of doing something that kind of bridges the gap between two end games. But let me describe to you what the end game of Last Epoch is right now. We're in patch 0.9.2. We're about 2 months before the 1.0 release. I expect the end game will be better and better and better as Last Epoch goes on. But right now, truthfully, it's kind of lame, kind of repetitive. If you like blasting tier 16, 100% delirious map, something, if just blasting those pieces of content over and over is the part of an action RPG that you like the most, Last Epoch probably will disappoint you currently, because the fully fleshed out endgame is one of the weakest parts of Last Epoch currently. That said, I've got like 5,000 hours in this game. I think there's a lot of good parts about Last Epoch, but I'm just being honest with you. So what we're currently doing here is we are doing one echo on one monolith. And I have to go kill one monster somewhere. Let's go get this guy. Come on, buddy. You're made out of ice. Why are you walking through fire? So we just finished one echo. It was an arena echo of one monolith. So let's portal out and see what's going on here. This is one portion of the end game. This item here corresponds to whatever the image is in the middle of these nodes here. So for example, this one right here, if you look at the bottom right corner of my screen, it says, I guess it doesn't say, does it? But this is a idle node. Oh yeah, Echo rewards idols. Echo rewards set item. Yeah. So the item there corresponds to what drops in the middle. This box on the right side is just a bunch of random garbage. So it tends to be pretty meh. What is the end game? There's the monolith. There is empowered monoliths. The normal monoliths are virtually not endgame at all, but I should mention them anyways. So there's monoliths, there's empowered monoliths, there's arena, there's dungeons, there is the arena of champions, and then there's like making new characters and grinding out items and making sweet LP items, which to me is a lot of fun. And I love making sweet items and farming for 2 and 3 LP items and then trying to slam them with something awesome to make good legendaries. I like that, and I like making new characters, and I like theory crafting, and I like making meme builds, but that's not like the end game. So let's talk about the things that are actual factual end game in Last Epoch. So I said monoliths first. When you walk through the monoliths, before they are empowered, it's basically walk from point A to point B. I do not recommend doing anything in normal monoliths except for getting to empowered monoliths. If you want to know why, comment section or something. So, your first job is to get to empowered monoliths. Nothing is particularly difficult. Hopefully your build can handle all the content. If it can't, it's probably something small you can adjust in order to handle normal monoliths, because they're not particularly challenging. Empowered monoliths was the second thing that I mentioned. For empowered monoliths, that's where, to me, Last Epoch really opens up. And that's where you can decide what drop rate blessings do I want, what blessings do I want, what do I want to farm, what LP unique items do I want to chase, when am I going to get to level 100, how much corruption am I going to get on my monoliths, those sorts of things. So like those questions are fun questions. You can tackle multiple of those at the same time. So empowered monoliths, getting to empowered monoliths. Yeah, so that's an important thing. The empowered monolith loop, basically you post up, you walk into one of these little islands, one of these monoliths, you have a web, the center of the web is a little blue bit, and then you branch out. It kind of reminds me of Synthesis League, if you played Synthesis at the time, back in Path of Exile days. So you branch out, the blue line represents where I've already been, and the white lines are places that I can go. And then you can push corruption. I'm currently at normal empowered monoliths are at 100 corruption. So 100 corruption is like not particularly exciting. It's fine. It's not particularly difficult. It's fine. But 200 corruption is a good breakpoint. 300, 500. There's no real breakpoints beyond that. But if your build is tackling 500 corruption, you've got a good build. 500 is like, yeah, good job. Congratulations. So that's what this looks like. You branch around here, you look for set unique shields, or maybe you look for exalted wands or exalted staves, and you farm those up and you find cool items. So that is endgame loop number 2, which is empowered monoliths. Endgame loop number 3 involves the arena. In case you don't know, for all of these keys that are in your inventory, if you right click on them, they will zoom you to your map of where you can go. So let's sit through a loading screen and hope that it's not too long, because it's a little bit long currently, but we'll see. So I said the third endgame loop was arena. And I think arena is worth mentioning because it is fun. I like dunking on arena. On the other hand, it's actually fun, believe me. The downside of arena is it is completely useless. There is no payoff for it. It is 100% a waste of time. There is literally no reason to do arena. This one. When I say arena, I mean this infinity sign over on the right side. It says, fight through endless waves of increasingly powerful monsters to earn a spot on the leaderboards. The leaderboard is this. You get nothing but bragging rights. And other people can see your name. You get absolutely nothing for this. When I say that it's fun, what I mean is, if you have, an hour or two, because it kind of takes a long time, as I would never start at wave number 1. I think starting at wave number 1 is just like, you're gonna fall asleep, dude. But if you have one of these silver keys, it says an arena key of memory, and it starts you at wave 100, getting from wave 100 to 200 is probably not difficult for you, if I had to guess. If you're playing like a good build, it's probably not difficult for you. But hashtag trust me, bro. Starting at like wave 200, arena is challenging. And you'll have some clench moments. And oh my god, I can't believe I survived that. And it does get fun. It takes a long time. And you can only start at wave 100. You can't start at wave 200. So, I don't know. There's literally no payoff for it. In the past, there used to be weekend tournaments. And there was like community-driven stuff. And I was reluctant to join them at first because I thought the arena wasn't going to be fun. But my opinion really changed. I used to love the weekend tournaments because of like the cool moments that would arrive in the arena. But currently, there is literally no reason. There's no benefit for doing arena. The fourth thing that I mentioned as part of an endgame loop was the dungeons. So I don't have a dungeon key, but we can go there real quick. Let's go down here. There are 3 dungeons in the game. You've probably heard of them. Things like the Temporal Sanctum, or Julra, or Tier 4 Julra, or how fast can you dumpster Tier 4 Julra, or oh my god, have you seen the squirrel build that kills Tier 4 Julra in 6.2 seconds? You've probably heard things like that along the line. But dungeons are nice. They have bosses, they have unique items there. There are daily rewards that go along with them as well. So walking up to the door of each of these dungeons and putting in a key, you'll see that there are rewards for each of them. Instead of doing that, I'm going to change my camera and show you this. This is lastepoch.tunklad.com. I link this in my Twitch chat all the time. If you take a look at the dungeon button right here, shows you in a very succinct manner what all the current daily mods are. So if you want to farm additional scepters, if you want to farm glyphs of despair, that kind of stuff, it's a reasonable thing to do, along with whatever unique items drop from the bosses there. Fun fact, if you click into this and scroll down, you'll see that these roll over on a 24-hour basis, and you can kind of predict what's going to be coming in the next 12 hours, next 24 hours, in case you want to jump online and do some farming. So that's there for that. The 5th piece of endgame content, we were already there, but we're going to zoom back to it real quick. I said the Arena of Champions. The Arena of Champions was basically introduced alongside the dungeons. The dungeons have the 3 bosses and whatever. Arena of Champions, I have a very low opinion of it, but it's technically a piece of endgame content. What you do is it's like doing 40 waves of the arena. So it's like the 1, the 2, the tier 4. So like you can do tier 1 Arena of Champions, tier 2 Arena of Champions, tier 3 and tier 4. At the very end of those 40 waves, there will be a boss that shows up. You either get the rogue person, the primalist person, or the sentinel person, and then they have corresponding unique items that drop from them. The unique items are fine. But to me, it feels very bad to farm those unique items. There's a pair of boots that drops from the Sentinel that is quite good. All of the other items are like kind of middling. There's a totem belt, I guess. There's a totem belt that you can technically make use of for like some builds and some memes. But for me, just like the boots that drop from the Sentinel are the really only compelling reason to do Arena, and I would rather just never farm them because I think that this content is lacking and I think it's a little bit boring. So it's there. Far and away, the most common content that you'll see me doing on stream is doing the endgame loop of empowered monoliths. It's the most fleshed out so far. It's repetitive, I'll admit it, but I enjoy it. So posting up, trying to get a perfect blessing, trying to get good unique items that drop from that boss, maybe like a 1 or even a 2 LP Twisted Heart of Icaros, for example, is a huge game. And then, of course, each monolith also has a set unique node that appears. So for this node, or for this monolith right here, you'll see in the bottom middle of my screen, it said that there's a set unique helmet node and a set unique shield node. Each of these has a different set unique that appears. So for this one, you'll see that there's set unique swords and set unique axes in case you want to be farming those kinds of things instead. So that's the 5 components of the end game of Last Epoch as they are currently, and roughly what my opinion is of them. If you like building new characters and making memes and making sweet items and slowly upgrading your character over time and getting to 1,000 corruption, it's a really fun game. And there's a reason that I've been playing Last Epoch for a long time. On the other hand, like I said at the very beginning, if the thing that appeals to you about action RPGs is getting to really scuffed up, extremely dangerous, very dense content, like 100% delirious tier 16 maps with whatever the hell is going on in Path of Exile these days, if that's what you like, Last Epoch's not for you. Yet. But if there's anything else you like, Last Epoch's excellent. And I highly recommend it.